Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wagers on Campus, your home for weekly college football coverage with shows dropping every Wednesday and Friday. Today, we are talking college football playoff rankings. We're talking conference championship weekend, and we're going to be talking playoffs and a lot more. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. But thank you very much for checking us out. We really do appreciate you tuning in and listening to a couple of bums discuss college football. And I am Mayor, and I am here as always with Xander.
Hello. Speak for yourself, bum. Save the best for last, pal.
I'm a bum. I'm a trash bag. It's good to have a little humility, especially around the holidays.
You know what? I just appreciate your resolve. I appreciate your stick to itiveness. You know, you powered through it through the entire season, and only 4 games below 500 is really not bad at all.
Yeah. I credit. I'm not going to go there. But last Saturday, week 14, on a personal note, Burns, I did incredible. I was up over 12 units on Saturday. Just had a monster day. It was the first enjoyable college football betting Saturday I can remember in a very, very long time.
What did you just tail my picks?
No, but I'm sure I was on some of your picks. 14-6. Holy crap.
Yeah, almost plus 12 units. That's why I said, did you just tail my picks?
Okay. Yeah. So let's get into it. Week 14 betting recap, and then we can talk about whatever. Xander 14-6, up 11.5 units. Oh my God. Your lock lost,
Ironically.
right?
Yeah,
Teaser. Hmm?
I was just going to say I had 4 best bets. I picked a lock that wasn't even my biggest bet. My biggest bet was Ohio State on the card, 4.5 units. And
Dude,
I don't know what I was doing creating the graphic, but I picked Oregon, Washington as my lock, and my other 3 locks hit. So that was plus 6 units alone, right there.
that's how I feel about my lock, Georgia Tech. I had Georgia covering, I think, the 14. And in my heart, Ohio State minus 9.5 was always the lock. And if
Yeah,
there was a backup lock, it would have been Alabama minus the points against Auburn, which was lucky, but it still would have cashed. Um,
correct.
I went 7-4 on the card, up 1.5 units. My lock lost 6-8 on the season on locks. Burns 7-7. Best bets as a podcast 28-20. So we'll take that. Pleaser, pleaser, three and
Man,
one. Are you kidding me?
so close, man. So close. Like I said, Oregon, Washington fucked us. Fuck a duck. Yeah, look at that. Ohio State covered 16 and a half. Georgia State wins outright. And then BC, I mean, that was the easiest game of the entire season. Can't believe it wasn't one of my best bet slips because I bet it like one. Syracuse and UMass are 2 of the worst football teams I've ever seen.
What was the final score of that game, the Boston College game?
I believe it was 34-12 or something weird. Like Syracuse had a weird number.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Pleaser goes 3-1. That would have been epic had we hit that one, but not quite. And then the teaser went 4 out of 6. Um, let's see, what do we have here? I had Ohio State down to -3. That cashed. Vanderbilt up to plus 9.5. That's a good pick. That cashed. But did Georgia really not cover 7.5?
No, 7. 16-9 final.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And
dude.
we want to rank this team number 3. Really?
16-9 is like that's like a modern age baseball game.
Yeah,
Not a college football game for a playoff berth, basically.
yeah. Savannah Bananas.
Exactly.
Um, what Did you see my Twitter comment, by the way, yesterday?
No.
All I said was just on a random post was, why is Georgia ranked ahead of Texas Tech? Am I missing something?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Obviously, Big Red Raiders podcast here, but if you for some reason the eye test only accounts for Notre Dame, but like the eye test for every other team in the country is like, yeah, we don't care about that,
Interesting.
right?
Mm-hmm. And then Xander's teaser picks, 2 for 3 as well. Oklahoma -3.5 against LSU. That cashed. Oregon, Washington over 45 did not. That was a really low scoring game at 26-14. And then Temple down to -14 against.
Well, no, sorry, I just wouldn't be a graphic without a typo. Obviously, Temple wasn't 20-point favorites over North Texas, so we
Right.
teased North Texas down to 14.
Yeah. So loser on the pleaser, loser on the teaser. Had some good picks, just couldn't bring it home. And yeah, week 14 was a fun one. I felt like there was a lot of entertaining games. On a personal note, I haven't gotten to do this a lot this year, Xander, where I just got to chill on a Saturday and do nothing and
Nice.
just have college football on literally from start to finish. And it reminded me of, you know, days of years past. It was great.
Nice. So what was the biggest win then? How'd you accumulate these units?
Hard Rock, those scumbags, they had a couple of boosts. Like, I'll give you an example. They had Vanderbilt team total rushing yards over 121 and a half, boosted to plus 137. So I
Oh,
see
wow.
this I see this line. I'm like, first of all, I've never seen this line in my life, team rushing yards. So I don't even know if it's a good line, a bad line. So I go to FanDuel, check FanDuel, they have it 158 and a half. Hard Rock's giving me 121 and a half. Obviously, I double checked this thing like 3 different times. Like, are my eyes deceiving me? What? I'm like, no, I'm reading this right. So they got a max bet on these boosts. So I put the max, which is 50, and it cashed. There was another one with Florida team total yards 373 and a half. I just took the numbers, blindly played it. It cashed. But if we're actually talking about good bets that I actually earned, Ohio State -9.5. And the over in the Vanderbilt Tennessee game. Those were two big plays on my end.
Yeah, no thanks to Tennessee laying 3 in the second half. Like, Jesus Christ. That's already a big number, and yeah, luckily Vandy gets into the 40s like the coxmen they are. That's going to be such a shame that we're not going to see them play in the college football playoff this year.
Oh, I know it, brother. I know it. Your graphic about the 16 team playoff that you tweeted out a week ago was perfect. That's exactly what they should do.
That's all they need, man. It's all they need. Yeah, we'll talk about that here. Heather, what was your star of the show for Thanksgiving?
Oh, the Packers beating the Lions.
No dish.
No. No. How about you?
Wow. I mean, the dishes always get knocked out of the world, man. The green bean casserole, cream corn this year was insane. Stuffing, uh, smoked turkey on the green egg. It's just the best spread of the entire year. It's just such a shame. But where did Boston Market go, man? I could hammer that all year round.
Well, for sure. I mean, you're right. The spread's great, but maybe it's so great because we just don't have that type of spread all that often.
That's true. And the family around too.
Maybe some drinks.
That too. It was funny. I looked at Kurt before the Packers Lions game, and I go, uh, obviously a little bias on the Lions, but you know it's going to be a Packers Bengals Cowboys money line parlay, right? And he goes, "Yeah, got it. It might be a dog eat dog type Thanksgiving." And of course, we don't put that parlay in.
No.
Yeah,
Thought that story was going elsewhere.
Nope. After the Cowboys won, I looked at it and I was like, dude, Bengals is a lock. Might as well just bet them. So at least bet them individually, just knowing what was happening in front of our eyes. I had a pretty good little. I cashed out once I got back to Tennessee, but my Hard Rock account was flush as well down there.
Ooh, love to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. And then Friday the Bears beat the Eagles, so the upset platter was completed.
insane. And then I think
Mhm.
like the Panthers were like one of the first. Panthers and Jets were like one of the first games to finish in the noon window. Obviously, there were a couple games already decided, but and the Texans too. So like the NFL was just on a money line dog streak like crazy.
Yeah, that Panthers game was pretty unexpected.
Yeah. All right. It's college football. College football. Obviously, the money line dog parlay lost 1,100 to 1 odds. We were just goofing last week.
Hmm. We
Put
were.
together a little bit of a, just if it hits, it's a something to write home about for sure. But obviously, zero expectations for it hitting.
Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't hit, it's like, well, what'd you expect, assholes?
Correct. Let's see. Mac Messiah. We ended strong, Mayor. We ended strong. Here she is. So we go 4-2 on the week. Big time. Big time. Ball State crumbled. Fuck them. And then also wouldn't be a Mac. It's not listed here, but the Tuesday games wouldn't be an end of this weird Mac season without me getting backdoored. Eastern Michigan scores with 1 minute to go and a nothing score to get to the over when we're on the under in that game. Eastern Michigan doing absolutely nothing all game. So that was cool. We end the season 29-26. Obviously, not the 65% clip that we've had in previous seasons, but positive. And that's all you can ask for, right?
It is, especially when you're tuning into a podcast that gives out free picks, solid
Correct.
analysis. It's
And
positive.
for the season win total, we go 8-5 again. 8 and
Oh
4
wow.
last year, 8-5 last 2 years. Season win total 16-9. That's 66%, I believe, somewhere around there.
Hmm.
So, yeah, we had a big Eastern losing, Miami winning. There was a situation where I had 3 games there. Final games could have gone 0-3. Would have been tough look, but it wasn't. So, here we are.
Very
Another positive
nice.
year in the MAC.
Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And tell you what, Alex, we've got some futures alive. Are you aware of these boys?
I know a couple of mine and a
Yeah.
couple of yours.
Well, why don't you remind the crowd while I pull up the graphic for YouTube, a couple of yours that are still alive, and there's some big dogs in there.
Absolutely. So Oklahoma, I bet them over 7.5 wins at plus 130. That shit cashed a couple weeks ago. And I bet them to make the playoff at plus 550. Put a unit and a half on that. And that's looking pretty good. I would say that they are going to make the playoff. So super excited about that one. I have Oklahoma to win the whole thing, just a sprinkle. And I also have a sprinkle on Texas Tech to win the whole thing, which very much feels like it has a shot to do that. So I think that's all I got in terms of futures that are still alive. I had Nebraska team total over 7.5 wins, which was a loser. Unfortunately, they finish at 7. Don't know if that's different if Rayola never gets hurt, but Nebraska continues to underwhelm. That's really the bottom line here. And Buffalo, I had Buffalo over their win total, and that team had a tough year. So overall, Oklahoma, thank you for saving me, and it has a chance to be really special if either Oklahoma or Texas Tech were to win the whole thing. Other than that, all I got that still would be alive would be Julian Sayin to win the Heisman, parlayed with Matthew Stafford to win the NFL MVP.
That's nice. Staffy minus 280 to plus 100. Not his best performance, but I mean, come on, it should be his. He's not going to have another week like that.
See, it's between him and Drake May at the moment.
Yep. Dak
So,
might creep in there with a win out.
hey. Who's the third favorite? Jordan Love.
All right.
What? What the hell? What was that? He is.
I mean, just games against the Browns and Panthers and just absolutely gross.
Watch the games. Watch the games.
I do. He's my fantasy quarterback.
Don't come at me with that bullshit. Watch the games.
All right. Yeah, and I've got a couple futures alive. I've got one that's going to cash no matter what in my wallet because I have Tulane to make the playoffs at plus 800.
Ooh.
So I'm going to hedge that about 2 units with North Texas since it's such a small spread. It's going to take a money line. So either way, I'm going to be winning 4 units there.
Nice.
Other one for the playoff picture is Bama to miss the playoffs. Interesting. A blowout. A blowout gets us home, or a Ty Simpson injury. Other than that, it's probably dead. Let's be honest.
What am I missing? What am I missing with them?
I mean, key wins. You know, they beat Vanderbilt head to head. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they look like a national contender, but they have the wins to check the boxes in front of the other teams. So
I guess they beat Georgia too.
Yep, beat Georgia. Losses are not bad either. Oklahoma and Florida State, very bad actually. That was a 14-point loss.
Dude, Bama should not be in if they lose the SEC championship game. I said it there. I said it. That team, when you want to start talking about eye test, talk about the eye test to me with that Alabama team.
Very fair. Very, very fair. And then I still have 2 natty tickets alive. Oklahoma 60-1 with Mayer, half unit on them, so 30 units that wins. And then I have Ohio State 1.5 units to repeat at plus 600. I like that.
Such a good bet.
And then that's not the best bet still alive yet, Alex, is it?
You tell me. I don't know.
Best bet still alive is Diego Pavia, 150-1 to win the Heisman. And he is currently plus 190 to win the Heisman.
Holy shit.
If we go back-to-back years with 51 or longer shots to win the Heisman, this fucking podcast better get some goddamn flowers. I need to get my editing skills up to date and piece together me in week 0 talking about Travis Hunter last year and Pavia this year.
For sure.
Because that's still alive. It's my only one. I had 5 Heisman. Other 4 crashed out. So I've got Pavia alive. But yeah, I've got 4. You know, Bama make it is probably in, but they're minus 2,000 on the books to make the playoffs. So it would be something incredible. But yeah, I've got 4 futures still alive.
Wow. Pavia would be an absolute movie. Hope it comes through.
Thank you. Yeah, obviously, if he doesn't win, I'm hoping for Sayin. Worst case scenario here would be Mendoza winning.
Yeah.
Because no heart in it. And then I lose my bet and I lose the heart. So get that trash bag out of here.
And Indiana probably beats Ohio State in the conference championship game if that happens.
Yeah, that's probably right. All right. Speaking of, let's talk about the worst thing in the sport. College football rankings. What are your thoughts? Saw it last night.
So I don't agree with Texas Tech being behind Georgia in the ranking. I think Texas Tech has proven to be the better team than Georgia, and they should be 3. Boy, oh boy. I just mentioned Alabama. Don't think they should be in. Totally fine with Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. I do agree that they should be in, but I don't think it should be as an automatic as they currently are, even as someone who holds a playoff ticket on them. Bama, no, man. And then Notre Dame being at number 10. I mean, how many more pieces of media do I need to come across saying, why is Notre Dame ahead of Miami? Why is Notre Dame ahead of Miami? And it's like, yeah, I agree at this point. You've done it. You have brainwashed me. Miami should be in ahead of Notre Dame at this point. Really, dude, it's sick that Tulane or North Texas is going to get a spot, or JMU maybe. I don't know. Uh, and it's sick that Duke or Virginia is going to get a spot, but
Maybe.
But like what you proposed a couple days ago about the 16 team playoff bracket, that literally solves like what we're looking to accomplish here, which for the playoffs, we want the best teams playing each other, the most rightful teams playing. And currently, we just don't have that at the current format, even at 12. So those are my bird's eye view thoughts. Keep it quick.
I like it. Yeah, it's a 16-team bracket we're talking about here for the YouTube watchers. Obviously, I think I left Utah, and that would be Texas for sure. That would not be Utah. But like Utah in this scenario would be the only team with like a gripe, really. And would the country be up in arms if Utah wasn't in this year's bracket? No, absolutely not.
No.
So I think there's really not any like this gets a G5 team in there. I'd say James Madison would have a bigger gripe over Utah. Would be the only thing if we're looking, but outside of 16 teams, would you even feel comfortable if like some team went on a run and you're like Iowa is the national champion, 8-4 Iowa, who is larger than 16?
Larger than 16? No.
Yeah.
16 has to be the max. But, you know, if a team that gets in that's top 16 makes a run, you know, hey, so be it. It would be extremely hard to do in football, or I guess in any sport. But no, I love this. I love the 16 team format. I hope that that's what it's adjusted to. It makes way too much sense looking at this on the graphic. But I do have to say this. I feel like this year we're in a spot where we clearly see Texas, Vanderbilt, maybe not Texas, but especially like Vanderbilt and Miami, they deserve to be in. They deserve to be in the playoff, especially like Vanderbilt. No doubt about it. But they're probably not going to make it. And that's a flaw. That's a flaw in the system. I don't like that. I don't like it when a team should clearly be in, but for some dumbass reason, they're going to be left out.
Well, I do appreciate that point of view, but that's something that's really been sticking with me the last couple weeks here is why out of conference scheduling matters. And I don't understand how college football became a loser sport. The loudest voices we're hearing are from the losers. And every year we talk about the losers, the people that are trying to get in based off their quality losses, and you just never hear from the winner because they're already in. Like, why would Ohio State talk about Texas at all? It's like Ohio State's worried about the next game. Texas is worried about avoiding the Cheez-It Bowl. But when you schedule out of conference games, big games, you're expecting to win and you are expecting to deal a blow to a good team to make their road to see them later in the season when it matters. Like that is a reward to scheduling hard out of conference games and playing them and winning them. Like we're carrying the water for the loser in the three biggest games of the year: Ohio State, Texas, Indiana, Oregon. Oregon less now, but and Texas A&M, Notre Dame, even Texas or even Miami, Notre Dame. Like it just doesn't sit well with me, and it doesn't make sense hearing all these crybabies in the sport.
Yeah, but I mean, you have other teams like in Indiana who played nobody out of conference, and here they are sitting at number 2. And I understand they took care of their business, they crushed Illinois, they beat Oregon. I get it, but What's the incentive? What's the incentive to play the big out of conference games if you're Texas now sitting at 3 losses? What if Texas hadn't played Ohio State to start the year? What if Texas only had 2 losses right now? Are they in?
Well, they would have had if they had the same as the Big Ten schedule this year. They probably wouldn't have played Ohio State, but they had 4 non-conference games, and because Big Ten only plays 3 non-conference, they have 3. They have 9 conference games. So Texas still squeezed in the schedule. Sam Houston State, San Jose State, and UTEP, who have a combined 7 wins for the season. So I don't want to hear this cupcake schedule when Texas has just as many cupcakes as Indiana.
But
It's really what
Texas
it comes.
but Texas had to play Ohio State out of conference.
Well, they could have played Alabama in their place if there was 9 conference games. Like they would have had to play another SEC team. They wouldn't have had the capability to schedule a 4th cupcake team. So Indiana playing 3 is the same amount that Texas is playing.
Yeah. I also think the Big Ten was down this year. Actually, that's just like a fact. Like they just were down this year.
I mean, what can you do when the all-stars align, top favorite program goes 6-6? They're playing the final week of the year for a bowl game.
Right.
The Penn State collapse is something no one saw. And I mean, we talked about it. There's some SEC teams that fared the same. South Carolina, major hype coming into the season. Florida, major hype coming into the season. So there was some definitely down. But I will say this, like, they're trying to talk about Kentucky. Like, Big Ten doesn't have to play a team like Kentucky every week. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Toledo lost to Kentucky by 8.
For
Texas is
sure.
going to overtime with them. Like, let's just not start saying top to bottom. Like, the bottom of the SEC is still bad, but their logos look good. And that's why the SEC will always puff their chest out.
Yeah. I can get behind that. Kentucky is whew, woof.
And it's just because never, besides early Shiano, I mean, 07, like Rutgers has never like made a run. Like the lower teams have never like made a run that people can remember. Purdue used to be very good. Drew Brees days, they were contenders for Big Ten championships. Wisconsin, it's just like all Big Ten is having down years because they tried experimenting with weird coaches. Big Ten just needs to get back to Big Ten football, and that will be the way to get back into a conference contending narrative.
Pat Fitzgerald, Michigan State, Spartan.
Man, big time hire. Talked about that on Monday. It's beautiful. He's in the right place, and Michigan now has north and south to worry about, in my opinion.
Did you see that they have like a $1 billion like collective fund that they're establishing, like a trust type thing?
Damn.
They're building a new stadium, new football stadium.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like their stadium. Been there once. I like their campus a lot. East Lansing, pretty good.
I'd love to go.
It's good. They did lose Nick Marsh to the transfer portal, though. He's intending to go. So that's a tough blow. That's going to be an incredible get. Tweeted that out. We'll talk about that next week when we have less games to cover. But yeah, he's going to be a huge get in the transfer portal if Ryan Williams doesn't transfer and if Cam Coleman doesn't transfer.
100%. Yeah, they've had some good receivers here lately. Keon Coleman, Nick Marsh, Jaden Reed, just kind of low key.
Had to fit Jaden Reed in there, didn't you?
Of course.
No, he was a good receiver. No shade to him. Biggest surprises this year in the positive. What do you think? Now that I think we've talked enough about these damn rankings. Still got one more slate of games before they all shake out.
Well, are you just talking biggest positive like overall in college football, or like how are you asking that question?
Yeah, pretty much overall, or just you could really take it any way you want. What makes you look in a positive light from what you saw this year?
Just from a team standpoint, or just the sport as a whole?
Sure, anything.
I mean, I'll say this, man. I'm really impressed with BYU. and them having another phenomenal year with a quarterback who wears number 47. I had serious concerns, but that is a team time and time again that showed to be talented and resilient, and just overall a squad that really seems to like to play together, and just they're a good team. And I just give them a lot of credit because I don't think a lot of people saw this coming after last year where they were very good. They had some really close wins. We kind of felt like that would regress, and actually they just got better. And I'm surprised with the year that they had. And of course, I'd be remiss to not shout out Vanderbilt. Just an unbelievably special year. Clark Lee is an incredible coach. The program has completely turned around, and I'm just so proud to have been a Nashville native for 7.5 years and supporting these Commodores. Because, dude, if you really go back into the history books and you go through the Vanderbilt football seasons when they started playing football in the SEC, it is just 0-8, 0-8, 0-8. Oh, it is just one terrible year after the other for an unfathomable period of time. And now they're back. So I love to see it.
Yeah, big time. Echo that Vanderbilt statement. Just we had Oklahoma as the toughest schedule in the country prior to the season. We made graphics, tweeted those out. Very very surprised that they made it through 10-2 without John Mateer. Essentially, he has not been the same since his surgery. It's been tough to watch their offense, and that defense has been like win a championship style defense without an offense. Like that's how good they've been. It's been
100%.
nuts.
I know. Can we be honest though about Mateer? He wasn't that good even before the surgery.
Oh, now I will not entertain that.
He wasn't. He wasn't, and you know it.
I will not. I will not.
And now it's not all on him because the Oklahoma offensive line has been a problem. Their running game has been a major problem. It's definitely not all on him, but I expected more from Mateer this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't get a running game going, you're not going to be able to escape the pocket. I mean, his escapability is where he was so big at Washington State. And I just think that's the issue that we see. I'd say a few other things is that the AAC is better than the ACC. I mean, take Miami out of the ACC. I like some of these AAC teams better. And we were high on Tulane. We were high on Georgia Tech. They let us down. So another knock on the ACC. And seeing North Texas, I mean, the most electric team in college football, putting up the most points per game. They've hit the most overs. They cover the most spreads. It's must-watch TV, so that's been a good surprise. I'd say the negative is that we're finding out maybe we were duped in these college football expansion of the conferences. Just last note on the rankings here. Maybe this is what they always wanted. They knew that if you bloat the conference to 18, there's only going to be a max of 9 conference games. So the amount of overlap is small. And so you're going to get your SEC 4-way playoff with one conference loss and your 2 other teams at 10-2 arguing why don't we have 7 teams in the playoff. And that doesn't sit well with me. And that's why I like the realignment that I kind of have. I'm kind of understanding that relegation would never happen. So why not just let's get every Power 4 conference to 20 teams and then just split them into 2 sides of 10. And then you play all 9 of your opponents and then boom. That's really how it should be.
Aren't you kind of tired of having these same conversations about formatting and scheduling and playoffs? Can we just figure it the fuck out so we can talk football?
Seriously. It's how it needs to be. It's the NFL has a pretty solid structure of the previous year's division winners play other division winners. Like it weeds out the cream of the crop, always rises. And these conferences are just avoiding just to delay the inevitable. And it's kind of pathetic. Like they're just making a mockery of our sport. in the integrity of the sport. Like, we just had a 6-way tie in the ACC. Like, how did they not have a better tiebreaker? Like, the highest ranked college football playoff should have been the tiebreaker, not some
Yeah.
whatever the hell they decided. Duke. Now they're the laughing stock. Duke loses. The participant of a conference champion was 7-6 to end the year. How sad is that?
And if Duke wins, they might be in the fucking playoff.
And the other way, not only will they miss the playoff, but they could lose it to a Sun Belt team. Like, that's how bad you let your conference look, is that a Sun Belt team could get your nod. Like, what the hell are we doing? We're only thinking with dollar signs, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Get football people in charge.
Yep. If Duke makes the playoff, dude, that alone might be worth. I'm sure someone out there is like, if Duke makes the playoffs, I ain't watching a second of that thing, and they probably will stand by their word.
Get off your knee. Stand up for the anthem. I'm not watching. No way they could quit on the college boys. All right, that's enough of that. So let's get into conference championship weekend. Before we talk about the games, I've got a few interesting notes. Let's look at let's hold ourselves accountable. Let's look at who we had predicted in the conference champions. Why don't we?
Okay, sounds fun.
We've got one right on the nose. Mountain West, Boise UNLV. It somehow made it through. With San Diego State getting upset on Friday night, Boise clinched the tiebreaker. See, somehow. So we've got one.
Okay. Yay, us.
Yay. For the MAC here at the top, we have one of the two in one of the worst tiebreakers of all time. Miami had the same record as Toledo and Ohio, 6-2 in the MAC. Miami lost to both those schools, and somehow they are the representative of the MAC champion. Make that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play Western, so we'll X that out. Unfortunately, Louisiana Tech was right there as a plus 900, but they did not make it. Representing the CUSA is Kennesaw State 9-3 and Jacksonville State. They already played. Jacksonville State won a close one in overtime, I believe, but Kennesaw State 3.5 win total on the season. They finished 9-3 regular season. How about that?
Good for the Owls.
Yes. Who?
OVO.
Another team, group of 5, we got it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 10 group of 5 predicted correctly. Nails. James Madison versus Troy, not versus Louisiana. Troy also 4.5 win total. Shout out to them, although they are 23-point dogs in this matchup. So, and then the final AAC, we had Tulane. We had versus Navy. Navy just lost the tiebreaker, so we did have it pretty close there, but North Texas prevails. So, G5 conference predictions there, but you're going to get a kick out of the Power 4.
Hey,
not as close.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Does the winner of Tulane North Texas make the playoff?
Yes.
So that's a must-see game.
Big time.
When's that game?
Friday night.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yep. James Madison probably won't be able to jump either of those teams.
Wow.
Yeah. And then our Power 4. 1 out of 8 teams predicted correctly. The other 7 just really no chance in hell to even make the playoff, let alone their conference champion. We had Ohio State over USC, so we still might predict a champion in that one.
Mm-hmm.
LSU, Texas, SEC. How about Kansas State, Baylor? Kansas State needed the win last week to get to 6 wins. Baylor finishes at 5 wins.
Oh my God.
And then Clemson, Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech collapsed against Pitt, they would have represented. So we were close there.
Mm-hmm.
That was close because Georgia wouldn't have mattered. But Clemson, 7-5 season to forget. I thought, I had to double take since the 7-5 team is in the ACC championship. I was like, oh, is Clemson back? No, 4 of their losses were in the ACC. So
Yeah.
I thought that was funny looking back at that, our preseason prediction there of what could have been. What were our brains thinking?
Yeah. Just got to laugh through the pain. We got to be better next year because that is bad. Thank God for you having some common sense with Ohio State because I would have had like USC. I don't even fucking know. Penn State probably.
I think you might have, and I convinced you to get off Penn State.
Right.
Yeah. So also, Big 12 was such a. If you remember, Big 12 was such a toss-up on like the preseason predicted champion. There were like 5 teams, 6-1, like 6-1 odds. So even Vegas was a little iffy on what the hell was going to happen. So I don't think we can really. You were a fan of Texas Tech in your personal win-loss, and I made you get off and go to Baylor for our graphic.
Gotcha.
So hand up for me.
Okay.
You were a Red Raider from the start. And then last thing here, I'll just share with you. Tweeted this out earlier this week. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see this tweet.
So this is the conference championship weekend. These are the preseason odds for winning their conference championship.
Oh shit, that's cool that you did that.
Alabama, Georgia, 5-1, 4-1. Pretty standard. They were up towards the top. Indiana was 35-1 to win the Big Ten this year.
That just seems like that doesn't even seem real. What?
Some books 40, but I saw most books 35-1. Ohio State 2-1.
Indiana
Texas
was getting no respect after last year.
No respect at all. Their win total was 7.5.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, the 10+ win total would have been like plus 300. Looking at that schedule too, you're like, how? Oh man, that's an all-time. How did we not pick that out?
Yes.
Texas Tech in that group of 6-1 odds that I talked about. BYU slipped to 18-1 after BYU left. So I was a little surprised it wasn't a little larger, actually.
Right.
And then the biggest one, Virginia, 100-1 to win the ACC preseason.
Yeah.
Duke, 30-1.
Holy shit.
I called out for anyone on Monday's pod. I said, if you're not a graduate of UVA and you're holding a 100-1 ticket, please send me any receipt and you have some sort of time traveler in your ear.
Right.
Like, there's no way.
Oh, man.
North Texas was 22-1. Tulane, 3-1. One of the favorites to win the AAC.
Okay.
JMU, favorite to win. Sunbelt, 4-1. But Troy, 16-1. As I mentioned, they were pretty low on the win total. Boise, the only minus odds here, minus 125 at 8-4 still. So if you're holding that ticket, you definitely could have got better odds.
Yes.
But now, and UNLV 6-1.
Interesting.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Western Michigan 14-1 and Miami 7-1. Miami was second favorite behind Toledo. Western, yeah, pretty good bet. And then Kennesaw State 50-1, their second year in existence, and Jacksonville State 12-1.
Wow.
Yeah. So some pretty long odds here. Keep that in mind for next season.
I like that. That's cool. I'm glad you did that so we could look back.
Yeah. Yep. So that was looking back. Why don't we look forward here at the games we have on deck? We got 4 big games in my mind. I think you'll agree. And then we'll talk about the rest. That first game you just mentioned is first up on Friday.
Yeah, North Texas taking on Tulane. Winner goes to the college football playoff. Tulane is favorited, or is Tulane the dog? Sorry, I can't tell on the graphic.
Oh no, that's fine. Tulane's the dog, 2.5. These games, non-power 4 games, are hosted. So this is at Tulane.
Okay. So Tulane hosts, but North Texas is the favorite, over under 66.5. Oh boy. Curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, two teams that have been very impressive throughout the entire year. Tulane has shown a little bit more of a defensive prowess down the stretch, whereas North Texas is just a hang 'em and bang 'em team, dude. Um, Tulane, big win against a potential ACC champion, Duke, earlier in the season, but also got mollywopped by Ole Miss the next week. So when I look at teams that have been tested, I look at Tulane being tested a little bit more than North Texas. This number is extremely high because let's see, in 6 of the last 7 games, North Texas has gone over 50 burgers. And 2 of those games, no, one of those games 60, but so 3 of those games they were over 55.
That's
Insane,
crazy.
Mayor. The entire season, they have 8 games over 50. Their lowest output this season was 31 against Navy. They haven't scored below 31. The rest of their games 36, 33. I'd say their biggest test was an early on Washington State or maybe UCF or USF, I'm sorry, that blew the doors off them 63-36 back in October.
Yeah.
But other than that, they've had a softer than usual schedule. They played Charlotte, CLT, UAB, Rice, Temple. It's like South Alabama, an early Washington State. A bad offense in Army was able to hang 38. So I'm a little concerned when it comes to championship formats of North Texas being able to lock in for those crunch time numbers because their defense comes to stopping explosive plays is one of the worst in the country. They have no ability to jam the line or get stuff right. They're really going to be relying on up tempo, high volume passing. So for that reason, I really do like Tulane to win this game and advance to the college football playoff. Just think a little bit more of a complete team overall when we look at both of these teams broken down in an advanced analytics perspective. Tulane's middle of the road against the pass, though. So it is going to be a nut up or shut up type situation. Like North Texas could easily fly through Tulane, but I think Tulane has the tip the scales towards in a little bit better of a defense and a little bit more physical, better players than North Texas has been accustomed to seeing. So let's go Green Wave instead of
Okay.
Mean Green.
Okay. I say take the over. How about that?
Wow. You think it's Friday night? It's getting into the 70s.
No. Where's this game? NOLA?
Yeah.
Temp forecasts don't look too great. Possible rain.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about it, 30, let's see, 35 to 31 gets the under. It's a lot of points.
It is. Well, it's a super intriguing game. So much on the line for both of these schools. Whoever ends up winning, it has to be the biggest win in program history, right?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely does. Although Tulane did win the SEC 1946. So
What about North? Nice. What about North Texas's coach leaving? You think that impacts this game?
no, he'll be on the sideline. They
But I just mean taking another job in general.
I don't think so. I think being able to close the chapter is the most important part with the transfer portal and everything. I think having your guy on the sideline in the past, like or what uh, is happening at Ole Miss, I think that's the biggest issue with players feeling abandoned. But when you have the coach being in the program, allowing them to stay and coach through the postseason. Now that the transfer portal has been moved to middle of January, I think that's the smartest. Well, I don't think it would really have any impact at all.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious. Maybe you were going to go the other way.
No, you and I, same way.
Same way.
All right, BYU taking on Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, where you got Texas Tech laying a fat number of 12.5 points, over under 49.5. 11 a.m. Central, ABC from Jerry World in Arlington, Texas. So I think both teams, especially BYU, going to be motivated to play, show up and win in this game. Texas Tech obviously doesn't want to fall in the college football playoff rankings. They would like one of those first four byes, whereas BYU, hey, they're just trying to make sure that they get in. They're just trying to make sure that they get in. Let me ask you this. If BYU loses, let's say by 2 touchdowns, are they in?
No. They need to lose on like a last second field goal or like a last drive, final drive, to vault Notre Dame from what the committee has laid out for us, which truly doesn't make any sense other than collusion because on paper, BYU clears Notre Dame and everything, including now BYU should only be counted for one loss if they lose this game because it's to the same team. You say who'd you lose to? You can't say you say Texas A&M and Miami. You don't say Texas Tech and Texas Tech. Like we just lost to Texas Tech. Like that's some teams have an Achilles heel. Although I got to be honest, Alex, I don't like the Mormons' chances here. Unfortunately, I think it's a good story. I think their fan base has a right to feel slighted because at the end of the day, wins and losses are the only things that matter. They're power four school, but Texas Tech is just far superior, and they beat the crap out of them first time around. Like that was a like start to finish ass whooping. Uh, what was that? November 8th. So that was less than a month ago, man. And you're going to tell me that game was 29-7. So what is that? 22 points. So you're going to let me lay 12 and a half and think BYU is going to get better than 10 points on a neutral site where Texas Tech was settling for field goals. Like if they would have cashed in on those drives like they should have, we could be talking like a 45-7 blowout.
So you like Texas Tech to cover this number?
I do. I'm hoping BYU wins. That's a heart play, a brain, and everything I see statistically. I mean, we talked about it. I don't know if this was on. I think it was just off air right before we got on. Texas Tech is not getting enough respect. You mentioned it a little bit in your first overview of what you thought about the college football playoff rankings. This is just I'll tell you this much. This team scares me more than any other team as an Ohio State Packer. I think Texas Tech is a legit shot to win the national championship. The way they play defense, their ability to explode on offense, especially in the passing game, as long as Morton stays healthy, like I do like their chances to go far in this year's playoff.
Well, they got the athletes, that's for sure. And they
Big time.
just extended their head coach 7 years, so he's staying around. McGuire.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they just have just pit bulls on defense, just linebacking with Jacob Rodriguez, who, by the way, was this show's preseason defensive player of the year. Let's just let that be known. We had that called out from the start.
Yeah, let it be known. Am I crazy for leaning under? I feel like this game's going to be a physical football game.
You know, I fully believe in everyone just getting a little bit faster in the dome, though. That's all. The only thing that worries me when I see everything pointing towards the under is just that little extra oomph in the dome.
For sure, especially with teams that don't typically play in the dome.
Correct. When you take weather out of it and it's completely perfect conditions, the guys just look a little faster out there.
They do. They 100% do.
So
All
I'll
right.
probably just lay it with Texas Tech and stay away from the total, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. SEC, Georgia, Bama. Georgia is a 2.5 to 3 point favorite. Over under 47.5. 3 p.m. Central, ABC, Atlanta, Georgia. So. Watching that Auburn versus Alabama game last week. Not sure how much you watched that game, but I watched almost every play. And Alabama struggle to run the ball, really can't pass protect, and wide receivers are dropping passes left and right. I'm concerned about that offense, and I have been concerned for quite some time. And then on the other side, you got Georgia, and I did not watch this game, but I know they won 16-9 against Georgia Tech, and I've seen enough of Georgia throughout the year to know that their offense isn't quite as dynamic as it has been in the years past. They've had some nice performances, don't get me wrong, but can you trust them? No. Dude, I wish the number was a little higher, but this is an under. This is an under. These two offenses are not it. Period. The defenses are good on both sides. They're not great, but they're good.
Yeah. Also, Alex was just fibbing. He definitely watched his lock. For last week, the Georgia game.
Yeah.
He was just goofing a little bit there.
Yeah.
Obviously. No, I mean, but shit. I mean, going into last week, people were like murmuring, "Can Gunnar Stockton come up and grab the Heisman?" Fucking 80 yards passing last week. 80. And there was nothing wrong with him. Georgia Tech just allowed 1 million to Pitt the week before.
Exactly.
You only score 16. This Georgia team is a complete Jekyll and Hyde situation. Like, it was a non-conference game. So was there some arrogance? Like, there's been some, character issues in that program. Were they looking ahead to the SEC championship, like just overlooking their rival maybe? Can we give them a pass there? Or, how many passes can we give this team? This is, when it comes to a betting perspective, a big-time head-scratcher for me because, I mean, you're right, Alabama, it's been all year. It wasn't just against Auburn. They cannot run the ball. They just can't. Like, it is concerning. Let's see, when it comes to running the ball, 96th in the nation in total EPA and 130th in the country in success rate running the ball. 130, there's 136 teams. That is very concerning. 24-21, shocked a lot of those drives were converted into touchdowns in the first, and that still would have gone under, right? 45.
Yeah, it did.
I like your view on the under. Yeah, I don't know if I can get to a side on either one. I don't see Georgia being able to get off the mat and blow out Bama like they could to knock out Bama from any playoff contention. But, it's the one thing that you could circle is that Alabama's offense, 19th in the country in third down success. Georgia, 127th in the country in defending third down success.
That's a weird stat.
Yeah, Alabama staying on the field could be an Achilles heel there for long drives.
It's a good call out. All right. And then this has to be the game of the weekend, I think. We got Indiana taking on Ohio State in Indianapolis, 7 p.m. Central on Fox. Ohio State favored by 4.5 points. The over-under is 48.5. Yeah, man, you're the diehard Ohio State fan. You've watched about what?
I mean, when it comes to journalistic integrity, I call it down the line.
You're a diehard Toledo and a diehard Ohio State fan. Is that better?
No, I was saying like diehard nothing. I call it how it is. Don't let my bias get in the way.
Yeah, no. I know that. You interpreted that as, you know what? Fuck you. How about that?
I
Ohio
like that.
State.
I like that. I like when you get a little angry.
I want to know your opinion. I'm not saying it's going to be for positive or negative. I just want your opinion since you've watched so much of this team.
Did you know since Texas punched in with 2 minutes left in the game, make it 14-7, Ohio State has beaten every team by double digits?
Yeah, I would say I probably knew that.
Yeah. They've covered 11-1 this year against the spread. I just think, I talked about it on Monday, my breakdown of the game. But I think what was most impressive out of anything is that Michigan, still has some NFL talent on that defensive side. And Ohio State was able to line up with a true freshman and just flex their offensive line and just run the ball. And on the opposing side, it seems like their defense just gets stronger as the game goes on. I compared this Michigan game to the Penn State game for Ohio State. Penn State was down 3 at half, I believe. And then in the second half, I think they allowed like 30 yards. They didn't get past the 50. Ohio State shut them out, and then Ohio State just completely pulled away, won 38-14. Meanwhile, when we're looking at comparative stats, maybe it's the fact that Ohio State beat down Penn State, but Indiana played Penn State the next week, and it took a miraculous catch in the back of the end zone. It wasn't at night, wasn't a whiteout. A quarterback that hadn't thrown a touchdown all day to beat that same exact team exactly 1 week later. So when I look at tests, I have been down on Oregon all year. Another team that went to the buzzer with Penn State in overtime. And so Indiana going to Eugene is impressive. Winning in Eugene is impressive. I will say that. But when it comes to lining up and playing those two teams, it's not going to be impressive until you can take down the king of the mountain. And you look back at Indiana last year, they got dominated in the trenches everywhere. Quarterback is the better position, but they have not played anything close to the wide receivers that they're going to see. I mentioned on Monday that practice might be the closest they've seen. Like their own wide receivers might be the closest they've seen to talent-wise. And that's still not there. Penn State was able to get pressure on Mendoza, and I think Ohio State will be able to replicate that without blitzing. I think Ohio State's going to be able to get to the quarterback. This line has moved down. Outside information does concern me a little bit. Brian Hartline gets hired today. It says he will remain as the play caller through the playoffs and the offensive coordinator. That eases me a little bit, but it's been a bit of a hectic start to the week here. So that's something that I could see being a slight distraction from the game. But if we're just talking on paper X's and O's, you've got a ton of NFL talent on defense. Apparently Mendoza's going 1-1. I think that would be a mistake. I think this will be a test that Indiana will not live up to. Double-digit streak moves on. I think Ohio State wins by 14 or more.
I tend to agree with you. And the number one reason why is because of Ohio State's defense. They are the best defense in the country, and they have an offense that's pretty fucking damn good themselves. But when you have two really, really good units, including one unit that's elite in terms of the defense, and the offense ain't no slouch either, good luck. Indiana's a great team. There is a world where Indiana wins this game, especially with the game being played in Indianapolis. If they get out to an early lead and they get some momentum from the crowd, and this turns into a game where Julian Sayin maybe has to make one too many plays as opposed to more of a balanced attack, there's a chance that Indiana could win this game. Indiana has been battle tested. Remember, they played Ohio State last year in the regular season in Columbus. So they've played these guys. Indiana also played Notre Dame in the college football playoff last year. And this year they went on the road as a 7-point underdog, mind you, to Oregon. So if you think this team is going to come into this game and be scared, you're wrong. They're not going to be scared. But at the end of the day, this is an Ohio State team that is just so clearly the best team in college football. I don't know what to tell you, haters. Ohio State is the only true dominant team in college football this year. It's just the bottom line. Just how Alabama used to have dominant teams, just like some of those Kirby Smart Georgia teams were dominant. This is the era that we're living in with Ohio State. They are a dominant team. And yeah, they're going to cover the 4.5.
Yeah, and I'd like your opinion on this. Something changed after that Michigan game last year. Obviously, everyone saw it. It's a different team came out. It started with Travion Henderson and some of the leadership in that locker room. But it seems like that's really carried over this year on discipline, doing your job, and just really performing up to your own expectations, not worrying about any outside information. So I've told other people this. This is not getting ahead of my skis, but this is the best team that I've seen in college football since 2019 LSU. And, obviously there's some take from the offense and give on the defense. Like the LSU's defense was not as complete as this Ohio State's team, and this Ohio State's offense is not as complete as that LSU's team. Give and take some. Like the only thing that can really get in front of this team from repeating is their own mistakes. Would you see that? Would you take Ohio State or the field right now?
Ohio State.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's tough to say. I mean, anything can happen in a 3-game stretch. You have to assume they're getting a bye. And this year will be our second test of rest versus rust, right? Is that bye going to be detrimental to the team sitting there waiting?
Not for Ohio State. I mean, I guess we'll see, but I think they're just way too good.
Yeah. Yep. And last thing, do you think there's any possible way, like, would the game have to be like the Ohio State-Wisconsin game back in 2014 where it was 59-0? Would that have to be the outcome for either of these teams to get knocked out of a bye?
Knocked out of a bye.
So knocked out of the top 4.
It's a really good question. Ohio I don't know the answer to it, honestly. I don't know.
Basically, do you see there's any way getting either of these teams out of a bye?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. And I don't think there's a way that either team drops below number 3, so they're on opposite sides of the bracket. Because I think these two teams, I mean, realistically, if they both hold pat, I think these two teams should be playing for the national championship in a month.
You like the over or the under? I would tend to go under.
I like the over for Ohio State and Domes. I just like their ability to really open it up. I'm a dome guy, dome speed guy. If you haven't found out,
I got nothing to say. All right,
points gained dome are high in my opinion.
Maybe Indiana team total under. I wonder what that number is.
Let's see. That'll probably be right at 20.5.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's no team has scored more than 16 this year.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Interesting. Going to be a big. Are you going to be watching that game or Duke, Virginia? Is the same time slot?
That game. I could have been funny, but I'm not.
You're a funny guy.
All right.
Funny looking.
Who was that was just laughing? His own God dang joke. All right. Friday, all the home team hosts in this one. Kennesaw State at Jacksonville State. Well, this game was already played.
That's right. Yeah, and it was a pretty good game. Did not go to overtime like I misremembered earlier. 35-26 Jacksonville State. That was 3 weeks ago.
So we got
Jacksonville
Kennesaw.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. So we got Kennesaw State as a 2.5-point favorite on the road in the championship. Over under 59.5, 6 p.m. Central, CBS Sports Network. Hey, it's gotta be Kennesaw State this time around, right?
I don't know, man. Jacksonville State is the best running back you've never heard of in Cam Cook, leading the country in rushing yards. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think just barely. Cam Cook leading the country in rushing this season with just a cool 1,581 yards.
Wow.
That's 132 a game. Yeah, with 15 touchdowns. Listen, Kennesaw State is a great story here, for sure. And everything the Owls have done, they've handled business in the CUSA. Jacksonville State has as well. They only have one loss in the CUSA. Their losses, tough loss to Georgia State, UCF, and then Southern Miss. So I think Jacksonville State is able to keep this game in front of them. You see that big total, 59.5. The last game was 26-35. That gets it to 61, just creeps over. I don't know. I think this is the fun game with points that we would take the high number on, in my personal opinion. Kennesaw jumped out to controlling the game in the first, but Jacksonville State pulled away, and I think that's the same scenario here. So I like Jacksonville State to win the game.
Love it. I don't have anything to add. So let's move on to Troy taking on JMU, where JMU is laying 23.5 here in the conference championship game, over under 47.5. 6 p.m. Central, ESPN, JMU. If they win against Troy, and let's say they just win normally, let's say they win by 2 touchdowns and they look good, whatever. Do you think they deserve to be in over like a Duke or a Virginia? Like just in your eyes, based on what you've seen?
I don't think they'll get in over Virginia, but they're definitely deserving over Duke. And I think if you played those games, I think they'd both be within a touchdown on the spread. So, listen, James Madison just completely bullied the hell out of Coastal last week, putting 59 on them. Second week out of 3, they hugged 58 on App State 3 weeks ago. This team can open it up when they need to. On top of that, their defensive prowess, man. They have some guys that are ball hawks out there, and they're going to be able to smother a Troy offense that is subpar. Remember when Troy was like in it with Clemson early in the season? How crazy was that? Yeah, I mean, Troy's just a team that can't run the ball. So if they're going to have to pass and keep up with JMU, it's just not going to happen. I would take JMU's team total over here. No brainer. You could take the game over as well, because I think JMU will get into the 40s and take the spread, favored and over. I just think this is a completely lopsided situation where this conference still has East and West. Last conference to have that. So I think that's where you get such a lopsided situation.
Definitely. Yeah, when you have the conferences still aligned like the old school way, that will happen. Shout out to Troy. Shout out to Marcus Ware. Shout out Jonathan Massaquoi, former defensive end for the Atlanta Falcons. Used to work with his ass at GPAC. Hope you're doing well, Massaquoi, if you're listening to this.
Hell yeah. Love that shout out.
And here's an underwhelming conference championship game that we wouldn't have thought to be underwhelming at the beginning of the year. UNLV at Boise State. Do you agree with my assessment? It's an underwhelming championship game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy that it's this matchup that we predicted, and Boise isn't like fighting for another playoff spot. Like, that's not what we would have expected if this was the conference championship game preseason. That's for sure.
100%. If you're holding a Boise State ticket to win this conference, consider yourself fortunate because it's kind of miraculous that they're in this spot. But here they are. Boise State's laying 4.5. The over-under is 58.5. Tell me, sir.
Maddox Madsen is going to give it a go. So, first good news for Boise all season. Obviously, had some injury issues. UNLV, talk about surprise of the century. I mean, surprise of the season. What Dan Mullen's been able to do out there in Las Vegas, going 10-2, and we talked about it. They had 60 plus transfers come in. This is a roster. This is a Frankenstein roster of all transfers. Got his own guys in there. First matchup was pretty easy. Boise State 56, UNLV 31. I was on Boise State that week. It's just a no-brainer. The team was healthy. Offense has slowed down since then. Every game in the 20s or lower, besides the car wreck that Colorado State is. But meanwhile, when we look at UNLV, team that's just got consistently better over the year, especially on defense, when they opened up one of the worst defenses in the entire country. Poaching a win against UCLA, that was pretty big news early on. But giving up 38 to Miami of Ohio can't happen. 48 to Air Force. You give up 21 to Sam Houston State and 31 to Idaho State in the opener, just to end the season averaging about 18 a game allowed on defense. So last 4 games. This one, I'm kind of in the air. I want to go under, but I don't know if I have the balls to do that. Can we get a weatherman check on what it's going to be like on the blue turf in Boise?
Huh, my specialty. I'm on it.
Calandria has been pretty solid, man. Someone that we kind of ragged on a little bit, but he's been able to put together a pretty decent little season, going 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, and then on the ground, he's over 550 yards. Get this guy the Heisman, huh? 30 total touchdowns responsible for. So I don't know, man. With Madsen and this low of a spread, I still have to go Boise State. I don't think that the gap has been covered talent-wise by 30 points like it was just over a month ago. So I'm going to go with the favorite here in Boise.
44 degrees, chance of rain. Feel like temperature is about the same, so not too cold.
Okay. Yeah, and I would, man, what an ugly. At this point in time, you'd be watching Tulane, North Texas anyway. So if this would be the game to bet the under, so you don't have to watch it and just kind of periodically check back in. Because it could also be the game where it's 42-38. You're like, I listened to that fucking moron, Wagers on Campus, told me to bet the under in the easiest over game of all time.
Well, let's hope not.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, it's your ass, buddy.
Whoa. Lay off my ass, brother.
Okay. How about this game? Maction. Final game of the year.
Ugh. And they only had 5 teams become bowl eligible.
Oof. It was a rough year for that conference.
Your boys at Buffalo stumbled down the stretch, 3-game losing streak to fall short of making a bowl 5-7.
When they finally had to play any sort of semblance of a real team. They gone.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Miami of Ohio, taking on Western Michigan, where we have Western Michigan as a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 43.5. Is this game being played at Ford Field?
It sure is. Classic view. They never pan out to the entire stadium because it's only lower bowl. Props to G5. Only G5 teams playing in a neutral site. That's what makes a little sense, though. Just Detroit's pretty neutral in the entire conference. Pretty easy to get to. So, yeah, we're talking two teams here. One team very deserving. The other team backing into the MAC championship, Miami of Ohio. When we look head to head, Miami did win this matchup earlier this year. That was with DeQuan Finn. Miami has looked better, although they have had the benefit of playing Ball State and Buffalo the last 2 weeks after getting fucking demolished by Toledo on their home field 3 weeks ago and losing to Ohio. When I look at these two teams, I think Western Michigan is a low-key stout defense that is a complete no-fly zone. And when you take away any sort of passing from lock it up. From Miami, this Gutkowski kid has been pretty good at moving the ball through the air. But any sort of explosiveness that I look at with Miami, it's just their rushing attack is bottom 10, bottom 20 in the entire country. Comes to any sort of explosive plays, early down plays. I just think that this is an easy play. Western Michigan gets their lick back. The rightful MAC champions. Also, just with Miami having no business being here, it's just bad karma. If you want to talk about outside elements, get them the fuck out of here.
Love that. So Western Michigan it is.
Yeah. Yep. On basically a pick 'em.
Playing in front of some home fans, perhaps?
Yeah, I would think so. Got to think those Broncos travel well. Yep. Recently, national champions in hockey, Division I hockey. So this is an up and up program.
Ooh, congratulations to them. That's huge. I like their colors. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a different type of gold. Share a similar palette with the UCF Knights. I like that black and off gold, like rose gold color.
All right. Final game. Duke taking on Virginia. This is Saturday, 7 p.m. Central. Virginia, if they win, they are in the college football playoff. If Duke wins,
probably not.
Probably not. The over-under is 57.5. Virginia's favored by 3.5. Please tell me you think Virginia's winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, they took care of business in the first matchup, right? Beat the brakes off of Duke only a couple weeks ago. Let's see, that'll be less than 3 weeks separated. 34-17, just kind of controlled the game from start to finish. I'm not sure how that number creeps so high. 57.5. And when we look at, Virginia even lost the turnover battle there, 2-1 in that game, and they still soundly handled Duke at Duke, mind you. So I like that this is the only. I don't like that this is the only one, but I do appreciate having the conference championship outdoors. Still kind of holding that football nature.
Yeah, for sure.
I like the under here. Both teams kind of known for their offense, but things get a little tighter sphincter in the games that truly matter. Only thing that worries me is the pressure. But will the team that had no pressure coming into the season just kind of keep playing with that loose mentality? What Chandler Morris has been able to do there has been nothing short of just incredible. They're a team that's going to want to run the ball. They'll pass when needed. I will say I was looking at Mensa's stats the other day. Dude, he's been kind of worth the money. It's the defense that's really let them down. Are you aware of like what he's done this year?
Yeah, from a distance, I am. I know he's been pretty damn good.
Yeah, 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, with a 67% completion ratio. Not really a runner, but yeah, 28 to 4 is very impressive. So maybe the season that could have been, obviously dropping to Tulane, getting mollywopped by Illinois. This is a Jekyll and Hyde team in Duke, maybe just a year early. But for our sake, let me ask you this. Would you be upset if James Madison was in versus Virginia? Because you don't get a choice. One of those teams are in. But like, if you want to say, well, there shouldn't be two group of fives, you got to blame the ACC there, not the group of five team.
Personally, I'd be fine if JMU got in over Virginia. Virginia doesn't do it for me.
Yeah. It's a good story. But it's like, when we start talking about it, it's like, damn, I'd rather see JMU play football than, like, I know Virginia's going to get steamrolled.
100%.
JMU maybe could have a little Boise State chance.
I agree. That's how I see it too.
So which group of five team would you think has the best chance to win round one? North Texas, JMU, Tulane.
Tulane.
Yeah. I actually think North Texas, even though I have Tulane winning the game. I think that unrealistic speed, like Wild West offense. It feels like you remember that Liberty USC game, January 1st, like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
where it was like that game was like in the 40s. And I think Liberty was like a 19-point dog. No one gave them a lick of a chance, even in a game that wasn't in the playoffs. And they won that game, I'm pretty sure, right?
They did.
Yeah. So I think North Texas can emulate that a little bit, but I think any of the three legitimately have a chance to shock the world.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Also, you didn't ask. Bob Chesney accepted to UCLA, so all three of those teams in question have their coach moving on.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
because Tulane, Summerall, obviously going to Florida,
Of course. Of course.
of course. Yeah. So that wraps up. Man, do we want to put together a teaser, Alex?
No.
No teaser.
We're good.
What is it? Let sleeping dogs lie.
Hey, Ohio State's down to 3.5.
Really?
What's going on?
Is this Heartline News really rambling up all the bettors, getting them to run to the window?
Do I need to bet this right now? I mean, it ain't gonna get any lower than 3.5, right?
Yeah, I don't think it gets under a field goal. I think that would be asking Vegas. That would be enticing any bettor on earth to unload a clip on -2.5.
No kidding. Just now that it's creeping down, let me. Oh, of course, Hard Rock doesn't have the alternate spread. Classic.
Yeah, I don't see any injuries or anything.
Is it impulsive of me to make Ohio State -3.5 a 4-unit play live on the pod?
No, I don't think so.
Just lock it in.
Go ahead and lock it in, Alex.
All right.
I said I like it 2 scores, so
You did.
you should please it up if you could.
All right.
Do we want to do a 2-leg pleaser?
Pleaser?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We can do a teaser. We can do a pleaser.
Oh, we can. Well, why don't you lead us off then, since we're wrapping up our show here, well under our usual runtime. Appreciate all of you always listening on the edge of your seats. Got a lot of new followers and viewers from 2 weeks ago, so want to send them home with a final week teaser. We got to do that.
That's awesome. You've been doing a great job with the content on X. Shout out Xander Burns. And yeah, as far as my teaser goes, let's go. Let's go Georgia, Alabama. We're going to tease the total up and we're going to take the under. So it's currently 47.5. Can we get, what are we doing? A 6.5 point teaser?
Yeah.
So let's go under 54 in that game, please. And thank you. And I'll give you Ohio State, assuming that you're going to use it. So,
I've been the G5 guy. You can take the Buckeyes.
all right, give me the Bucks.
All right. Yeah, we'll go off that 3.5 number. So get them at +3. Okay. What's your third play, Alex?
Oh, three-legger on this card? Boy.
6 out of 10. That's 12. That's 20 plays available.
All right. All right. All right. BYU Texas Tech under 55.5.
Wait, the final product would be 55.5.
Or 56 is the final product.
So what's that? 49.5.
Right.
Okay. All right. Not bad at all, AM. Not bad at all. I'll take Western. Tease them to +5. They're going to win that game, so we'll just take the extra points for free since they're giving them out. And then I will take. Let's see. Where's my lines here? Line. Let's see. I will take. Yeah, I'll take JMU down to plus or -17. Might even just no. I'll just take that over down to what would that be? 41.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Over from 47.5 to 41. And then finally, let's see. Did I write that line down correctly? Is North Texas the dog or the favorite?
North Texas is the favorite.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, let's go shit. Oh yeah, let's do that. Boise. We're going across the line twice. Boise's winning that game. Do we think?
You motherfucker.
Oh, no. There we go. We'll go Jacksonville State up to +8. That's the better play. He found it. Don't start crossing lines like you're running your mouth. We'll go, yeah, JV State at home to Ken +2.5 to +8. Wait, that's +9. Even better. Even better, Alex. Let's create the final product here. And do you have a pleaser? Like a play? We can just do one.
Oh yeah. I am happy to give you a play on the pleaser, and it is going to be Georgia, Alabama under 41.
Whoa. Under 41, Alex?
I mean, didn't Alabama and Auburn, as well as Georgia versus Georgia Tech, both finish under 41 points?
No. Auburn, Alabama was 27-20.
Was it?
Yes.
Auburn got 20 on the ass?
Yeah, and they were driving for the old peanut punch.
They really got 20 on their
Yes.
ass?
Yeah, on the ass, bro.
All right. Nonetheless, it was still only 47. Yeah, I like that.
Bama, Georgia, under. Wow. 47.5 to 41.5. We just do 6 points here. Do you have a second play, or I can just do 3 plays this time?
Oh, geez, dude.
You don't need a second play.
You're something else.
I'm
You
gonna
know
go
that?
Buckeyes. Buckeyes from 3.5 to 9.5. 9.5.
Okay. All right.
Minus 3.5 to minus 9.5. And then I'm also gonna go Western Michigan uh, to minus 7.5 over Miami. And that would pay 33 to 1, Alex.
That's awesome.
33 to 1 on your local books here. Let me get that for the viewers at home, intently watching someone create a graphic live on air. Watch me make this graphic disappear. Look at that.
Hey.
Under 41.5. You're crazy, bro. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's wrap it up. Our last cards, last regular season cards of the season.
Sounds good, brother. I'll defer until the tweet later on this week, but lock me in for Ohio State minus 3.5. Lock me in for Alabama, Georgia under. Give me 48. I'm sure there's a 48 out there. So yeah, give me under 48.
I'm sure there is, and there is. So for every game, uh, I will put it out there, but don't tail this on. So I'm going to bet North Texas money line because I have Tulane making the playoff at plus 800. That's a hedge play. I think Tulane wins, but I'm just going to cash that out because I can, and I like profits. So I'm going to do that. I like Texas Tech 12.5. Don't need to get into it. I'll ride the under with Alex. Like Ohio State. As many points as you want to give them. I'll probably tease that, or I'll probably please that up so I can get plus money. And then give me Jacksonville State. Give me JMU team total over. Give me Boise State minus 3.5. Western Michigan minus 1.5. And we will go with UVA minus 3.5. Probably parlay the money lines of Virginia, Boise, and Ohio State. Get a nice little probably 3 to 1, 2 plus 280 parlay, I would say.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so there it is. Conference championship show.
Love it, dude. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for putting this together like you always do. And as I say every week, man, it'd be nice to get some winners. Let's freaking go, baby. Let's freaking go.
Let's just keep it rolling because we had a tremendously impressive winning week. Combined 21-10 last week against the spread. You're not going to find that at many places, folks. For free, too. For free. Remember that. Always free. Unless you want to tip us, but that's your own volition.
Own volition. Nice word. Nice word to close out the pod.
Thanks.
All right.
I will say one programming note here. Live reaction show Sunday. I'm going to go live as they reveal the brackets. You'll see it. Follow us on Twitter. Just follow us on YouTube for the live video. Yeah, we're going to react live together, and we're going to motherfuck Notre Dame for stealing the sanctity of college football and what it means to actually win head-to-head. How's that sound?
100%. I love it. All right. Well, I'm signing off. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Love you. Hit the wrong button.